Welcome everyone. Today we dive into the fascinating world of Atomic Habits, a game-changing book by James Clear. This book doesn't just explore habits, it delves into the nitty-gritty of how they form, why they stick, and most importantly, how they can be changed. Now let's talk about the author. James Clear is an expert on habit formation. His insights are rooted in scientific research, which makes this book not just a theoretical guide, but a practical tool to transform our lives. With a deep understanding of human behavior, Clear masterfully presents his ideas in a way that's easy to grasp, yet profound in its implications. At the heart of Atomic Habits lies a simple yet profound idea: the power of small habits in transforming our lives. It's not the big sweeping changes that make the most difference. It's the small atomic-sized habits, the minute adjustments we make in our behavior that lead to significant long-term changes. Think of it as a snowball effect. One small change sets off a chain reaction that over time leads to a monumental shift in our lives. But why should we care about these small habits? Well, because they are the building blocks of our daily routines. They shape our actions, our decisions, and ultimately our lives. Understanding how they form and how to manipulate them gives us the power to consciously shape our lives in the direction we want. So buckle up as we explore the science behind habit formation and how to harness it to our advantage. Now let's delve into the heart of Atomic Habits, the 4 laws of behavior change. Every habit we form follows a 4-step pattern: cue, craving, response, and reward. Understanding these 4 laws helps us to make or break habits effectively. First, we have the cue. This is a trigger that initiates the behavior. Let's say you walk into a dark room. The darkness is the cue that tells your brain to initiate a behavior, which is to turn on the light. Next is craving. Cravings are the motivational force behind every habit. Without some level of motivation or desire, we have no reason to act. In our example, you're not motivated by the darkness itself, but by your desire to see. The craving is what drives your response. The third law is the response. This is the actual behavior you perform. In our example, the response is you flipping the light switch. If a behavior is difficult, we are less likely to do it. The easier, more convenient a behavior, the more likely it is to become a habit. Lastly, we have the reward. Rewards are the end goal of every habit. They satisfy our craving and teach us which actions are worth remembering in the future. When you flip the light switch and the room becomes illuminated, you've achieved your reward. You can now navigate the room without stumbling over furniture. But how do these 4 laws interplay to form habits? Your brain is continuously analyzing your internal and external environment for hints of where rewards are located. Because the cue is the first indication that we're close to a reward, it naturally leads to a craving. Cravings are positive or negative feelings that motivate us to take action, hence the response. The response delivers the reward, and this process is what allows our brain to encode this sequence into a habit. By understanding these 4 laws, we can use them to our advantage. Want to build a new habit? Make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying. Looking to break a bad habit? Make the cue invisible, the craving unattractive, the response difficult, and the reward unsatisfying. Understanding these laws allows us to effectively establish positive routines and achieve our goals. Having understood the 4 laws, let's move on to another powerful concept: habit stacking. Imagine this: you wake up, brush your teeth, then immediately follow it up with a glass of water. You've just stacked 2 healthy habits together, making them more likely to stick. That's the essence of habit stacking. The concept is simple, yet profoundly effective. It's about taking a habit that you already do consistently and then adding a new habit to it. The existing habit serves as a trigger for the new behavior. This way, your already established routines serve as the perfect launching pad for new habits. Think about your daily routine. What habits are so ingrained in your schedule that you perform them without thinking? Maybe it's having a cup of coffee first thing in the morning, Oregon. Perhaps it's checking your emails after lunch. Now imagine adding a new beneficial habit to these existing ones. For instance, after your morning coffee, you could meditate for 5 minutes, Or after checking your emails post-lunch, you could go for a quick walk. The beauty of habit stacking lies in its simplicity and its reliance on existing behaviors. By attaching a new habit to an existing one, you're not starting from scratch. You're building on a solid foundation, and that makes the new habit more likely to stick. However, it's important to remember that the new habit should be something that can be completed quickly. The goal is not to create an overwhelming stack of habits, but to incorporate small, beneficial behaviors into your existing routine. So, the next time you find yourself struggling to incorporate a new habit into your life, give habit stacking a try. Take a habit you already do daily and stack a new, positive habit on top of it. You might be surprised at how quickly this new behavior becomes a natural part of your routine. Habit stacking, thus, is a powerful tool in our arsenal for positive change. Next, we come to a simple yet effective technique, the 2-minute rule. This rule, in essence, is a psychological hack to outsmart our inherent tendency to procrastinate and delay tasks that seem daunting. You might wonder, how does this rule work? Well, it's quite simple, and as the name suggests, it involves 2 minutes. The 2-minute rule states that when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Let's say you want to start reading more. Instead of setting an ambitious goal of reading 50 pages a day, start with reading just 1 page a day. This task will take less than 2 minutes, which makes it easy to get started. The idea behind this rule is not to make the habit itself easy, but to make the act of starting the habit easy. Now, you might think, what good will reading just 1 page a day do? But remember, the goal is not to finish a book in a week. The goal is to cultivate the habit of reading. Once the habit is in place, you can gradually increase the time spent on it. Often, the hardest part of any task is getting started. By reducing the task to a 2-minute version, we trick our brains into taking the first step, which is often all we need to keep going. The 2-minute rule is not about the results you achieve in the initial stages, but about the process of getting started. It's about making the first step so easy that you can't say no. It's about setting the stage for sustainable long-term habits. The beauty of the 2-minute rule is its versatility. It can be applied to any habit you want to form, be it exercising, studying, meditating, or even flossing your teeth. The key is to focus on the act of showing up and not the performance. The 2-minute rule is a practical approach to kickstart any habit that you wish to incorporate into your life. So the next time you find yourself procrastinating or facing a daunting task, remember the 2-minute rule. Start small and let the power of habit do the rest. Let's now shift our focus to the role of our environment in habit formation. As we delve into this aspect, it's important to understand that our surroundings can either support or hinder our attempts to build habits. This is because our environment often acts as a cue for our habits. Let's take an example. If you're trying to establish a reading habit, having a dedicated reading space at home equipped with a comfortable chair, good lighting, and a bookshelf nearby can make it easier for you to stick to this habit. Every time you see this space, it acts as a visual cue, reminding you to pick up a book and read. On the other hand, if you're trying to cut down on screen time, having a television in your bedroom might make it harder to resist the urge to watch late-night shows. Here, the environment isn't supportive of the habit you're trying to form. The key takeaway here is that our environment influences our behavior more than we might think. It's not just about willpower or motivation. It's about setting up an environment that makes it easier for us to succeed. Imagine trying to eat healthy when your kitchen is stocked with junk food. It becomes a constant battle of wills. Now imagine if your kitchen only had fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Eating healthy becomes the default choice, not a constant struggle. This isn't just about physical spaces, though. The people around us, the information we consume, the sounds we hear, all of these are part of our environment, and they all influence our behavior. So if you're serious about forming new habits, take a good look around you. What changes can you make in your environment to make it more conducive to your desired habits? Remember, every little adjustment can make a big difference in the long run. An optimal environment, then, is a key factor in habit formation. Finally, we come to a crucial aspect of habit formation: our identity. Who we are isn't just about the color of our hair or the sound of our voice. It's about our beliefs, our values, our self-perception. And this, in turn, greatly influences our habits. Let's delve into that. When we think of habits, we often focus on what we need to do. But James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, encourages us to shift our perspective. He proposes the concept of identity-based habits. Rather than focusing on what we want to achieve, we should focus on who we want to become. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Imagine you want to read more. Instead of telling yourself, I need to read 1 book a week, you could say, I am a reader. This is a subtle but powerful shift. You're not just adopting a new habit, you're adopting a new identity. And when you believe you are a reader, you'll naturally start to read more. It's not something you have to do, it's something you are. Now, this isn't to say that goals aren't important. Of course they are, but they are the results, the outcomes. They are not the process. They are not the journey. When we focus solely on goals, we may feel frustrated if we don't achieve them quickly. But when we focus on identity, every step we take, every page we read, every healthy meal we eat, it's a win. It's a confirmation of who we are. But it's not just a one-way street. Our habits also shape our identity. Every time we perform a habit, we cast a vote for the type of person we believe we are. If you exercise regularly, you start to believe you are the type of person who values health and fitness. If you write every day, you start to believe you are a writer. This mutual relationship between habits and identity is powerful. It's like a feedback loop. The more we engage in a habit, the more it reinforces our identity. The stronger our identity, the more likely we are to maintain and build on our habits. Of course, change isn't always easy. It requires patience, persistence, and resilience. But remember, we're not just changing what we do, we're changing who we are. And that's a powerful motivator. So let's start thinking about our habits in a new way. Let's align them with the person we want to become. Let's make them a part of our identity. And let's remember that every action we take is a step towards becoming that person. With a strong identity, we can form habits that align with our goals and aspirations. As we near the end of our journey, let's summarize the key points we have learned from Atomic Habits. We kicked things off by exploring the 4 laws of behavior change, a central concept. It taught us how cues, cravings, responses, and rewards influence our habits. We learned that by understanding and manipulating these elements, we can effectively establish new habits or break unfavorable ones. We then delved into the power of habit stacking. This strategy allows us to attach new habits to existing ones, creating a chain of behaviors that are easier to remember and perform. By integrating new routines into our already established patterns, we're more likely to maintain them. Our exploration continued with the 2-minute rule. This rule encourages us to start small, to begin with, habits that take 2 minutes or less. It's a simple but powerful way to overcome inertia and start making progress. Next, we examined the role of environment in shaping our habits. We discovered that by designing our surroundings to favor our desired habits, we make it easier to follow through on them. Conversely, we can make undesirable habits more difficult to perform by making environmental adjustments. Lastly, we underscored the importance of identity in habit formation. We learned that our beliefs about ourselves deeply influence our behaviors. By aligning our habits with the person we aspire to be, we create a powerful motivator for change. Armed with the knowledge from Atomic Habits, we can now embark on a journey of positive transformation. Remember, even the smallest habits can lead to significant changes, so start small and keep going. And